Hello, welcome back to the Retic Rebellion Podcast. I'm Lee. I'm here with Bill and Levi. And today, our guest is Brian Kusko.
Picture? Where'd you get that picture of the guitar?
On your Facebook, bro.
I can't hear you guys all of a sudden.
Uh-oh. No.
There we go.
He can't hear.
Okay, hold on. I might have this.
Oh, hold.
I muted my mic. I just can't hear you guys, though.
You still can't hear us? Nope. Hold on.
Can't hear us.
Hold on.
Technical difficulties. Everything was good back.
I heard the intro music and everything.
No?
Nothing yet?
Oh, now I got you now.
Yep.
Oh,
all right.
Okay, good.
Yes. All right. So welcome back. We got Brian Kusko with us. How's it going?
Can't hear Lee, though.
Oh. Take it, Levi.
Tonight we got Brian Kusko. Brian, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I only have Bill right now, I think.
What the
Well, Brian, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. A little tired. Other than that, really, really good.
Good. I wanted to ask you one thing about your podcast that I was on a couple times with you and Garrett. Are you guys still doing that one?
We recorded one. We've recorded a couple that haven't gone up. I should maybe try. I should definitely get them up, I guess. We haven't done them regularly. There was a time when we did them every month, whether we were together or not. And then it moved to a time that we only did them when we were together. And I've got a bad track record of getting them up. We've recorded several that have not seen the light of day. And so I don't know if that answers your question or not.
I think it sounds like you've got some archived.
I do have an archive. I have an archive. There was one that we recorded, and I don't know what happened to it. Like it just it's on some drive somewhere or something. But there are three that I do know where they are, and for some reason, the idea of sitting down and editing it or running it through and then uploading it, it takes time, I guess. I don't have a whole lot of that.
Lee, let's leave and come back.
I do have them, though. They could potentially see the light of day one day. I think.
Come back.
I think maybe if like Gary or somebody who really, there's been a couple people who have like asked like, when is the next one coming out? And I'm like, soon. I think if like somebody came over to the house and was like, hey, let's go find that drive. I'll sit with you and let's upload that episode. I think that it would happen in that moment.
I got you.
And I don't know why it would take that other than I'm working a lot. I have 4 kids, and that's probably it. That's probably it. It's just by the time the day is over, I'm also over, and my days are pretty full. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Ooh, Todd Danielson.
Yes. Can you hear us, Kusko?
Good old time.
I hear you now, Levi. Yes.
How about me? Can you hear me?
I hear you too.
Yes. Perfect. All right, we're good. All right. Sweet. All right. Feel better now. All right. All righty. Okay, so you I heard you did a podcast with Garrett, just didn't post them very much. So I would say it's still kind of going on. See you post them.
I mean, Garrett and I are friends. We are also supposed to have phone calls every Friday. Even that doesn't always happen.
Yeah. I'm pretty bad at that stuff too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
His assistant actually I didn't know he had an assistant, but he or she texted me earlier this week to say that Garrett was going to be out of town and that we wouldn't have our Friday call. That was a new one. I've never had somebody reach out to me on Garrett's behalf before to say that we weren't going to have the phone call.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't I talked to Garrett like a week or so ago. I got to touch base with him here soon.
I remember that podcast we did, Brian, the one that the Lord of the Rings one.
That's the one I was thinking of, yeah.
That was killer.
That was fun. That was a good. I had many angles set up at that point. had a shot for Caleb, we had a shot for you, we had a shot for Garrett, and a shot for me. Yeah, we had multiple angles going on that one. That was fun.
We've watched that a few times. That is a really good one. Plus, I love
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings. That's my favorite shit
yeah,
right
that
there.
was such
So
a great conversation around that subject of like who would you be and why. Yeah, that was a good one for sure. Oh, we always had some good times, man, at your place. When I remember when we first met and we all came out for the grand opening of CMB, and yeah, it was a good time, man. We got pretty toasty in your backyard. I remember that too.
oh, of course, always.
What? No way. This doesn't sound like a time at Bill's house.
It was many years ago. How many? That was a while ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It was a while
Probably
ago.
about 6 years ago,
Okay.
around that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Mhm.
And I remember going over to Lee's, and you had that false water cobra, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, "No, it's gonna bite you." And I think even Garrett was like, "No, it bites everybody. That's the thing." I was like, "I don't think it's gonna bite me. I think I can take it out, and
And
it's not gonna bite me."
sure enough, it didn't bite. It didn't bite. Didn't bite him. Didn't bite him. Man, she sure as hell tried to bite me all the time. I'll tell you what, all the time. I was like, all right. And all I wanted her to do was love me. I thought they were the coolest snake in the world. I was like, it's a cobra. Just you can have one. I wanted to hold it. I wanted it to be cool, and it was everything but that with me. I think it knew I wanted it too much.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
like
don't.
the Asian water monitor.
Yeah.
I feel like that one would have a little heavier repercussion than a FWC.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, it's a baby, but still frustrating. But yeah.
So you
Yep.
were
Yep.
saying you've been getting up early. What about your new adventures with if you want to talk about the winery you were telling us?
Yeah, it's been different. I hadn't worked for someone else for half of my life, more at least half my life. Um, Self-employed since I was like 22. So it was an interesting thing or idea even to think about going to work for somebody else. Um, but it's been good so far. My boss is super weird and interesting in like a good way. Like, and I have a lot of creative freedom with it, and the spot is just amazing. I mean, if you've been to the Central Coast of California, you know it's already a pretty amazing place, but this place is just special. And like every hour or every lunch, I just go walk around the property for like an hour, find snakes or whatever's out there, and it's just I don't know, it's quiet. And I posted an Instagram story from there the other day. The clouds were just off the charts. Um, yeah, it's been beautiful. Um, I don't know. It's a big family friendly thing too. So I don't know. It is different. I am busy with it, because I start there at 6, and then I get off at 2, and usually like Monday I have a meeting at the church, and then we have a Bible study and then rehearsal. And Tuesday I get off and I do youth worship for middle school, and then Wednesday it's high school, and then Thursday I don't have anything after. And I've also been working out with my wife, which has been really cool. We built a little home gym down in the garage. So like between getting up to go to work, coming back to work with the kids, and then working out with my wife, like then eating dinner, like that's pretty much a full day.
Mm-hmm.
And then then I pop in on the snakes. Makai is my motivator to go in the snake room right now because that's where he wants to go all the time. We were just there right before I jumped on here. We were in there for about 45 minutes, just like cleaning up a little bit. He's poking out the turtle, throwing little dried shrimp at the turtle, and like
Mm-hmm.
taking out the frog, and doing his thing in the snake room. So that's pretty much a full day. I've randomly have uploaded. I spent 10 years uploading at least 2 to 3 videos to YouTube a week, at least. And for the first time And there, I mean, there were times where I uploaded every day and to Triple B TV. So like, 8 videos a week. There was a good period of time that was happening too. Um, and then I posted one video like 3 days ago, and the video that I posted before that was like a month before that. And that seems crazy. A little, it's not crazy, but it seems a little crazy, like for how much time I've consistently uploaded to YouTube to have take a whole month and not upload a single thing
Yeah.
was wild. Different times that
Yeah.
are
Is
changing
there
for me.
did that just happen like naturally, or was that planned, or were you wanting to do like a cutback and wind down, or is it just kind of how life unfolded and it's just how it worked out?
Yeah, I'd say that's just how life unfolded. It certainly
Oh,
wasn't planned necessarily. Yeah, it's just kind of how it unfolded.
oh, I love it when it happens like that. I love it when it happens like that. I mean,
Yes.
but I forgive me if I haven't been watching religiously on everything, but like you still pop around to shows and stuff because we just saw you not too long ago at a show in Arizona, so you still do stay
Yeah, I'm
pop
going.
around do your thing.
I'm wearing the t-shirt right now. Actually, that's these shows
Mhm.
these guys are putting on. They're very cool. And I went to. I'm planning to go to. I miss Nashville because I had a bunch of family in town and it was 2 of my kids' birthdays, so they're understanding about that. I was actually planning to go, and then we changed my flight to not go. But yeah, I went to the one in Virginia, the last one that just happened in Virginia, and then there's one in Denver, the like flagship show or whatever. The first show they ever put on was in Denver, and that's next weekend. I'll go to that one, and then I plan to go to every show for the rest of the year.
Oh,
Nice.
sick. Okay. So damn. So you're just going to a bunch of them. What's been your favorite one? Or I shouldn't do that to you because that might be rough. So give us your
No.
top 3 if you can't think of one as your top favorite.
I mean, the first time we went to
Turn that
Nashville.
down, man.
I mean, besides just so you know, but I don't hear anything back there, Bill. The this isn't necessarily related to the show, other than the fact that that's what we went to the show for. But the Nashville show was just really awesome and fun. I don't even remember if Nick was there. I think for some reason Nick wasn't there, and that was the one show. I think he wasn't. Sorry, Nick, don't take this the wrong way, but the one show that Nick's not. That was my favorite one. But yeah, it was just Troy, and it was kind of felt. There was an element of like, oh, Dad's not home. We're gonna go mess around.
Yeah.
But that wasn't necessarily it. It was really, I'd never been to Nashville. I've heard about Nashville. I mean, I've been playing music since I was a kid, and I heard it was live music capital of the world, and I've known that since I played in a band for a long time ago, and I just never been there. And going there knowing that it was the live music capital of the world, I was still blown away by how much live music was actually happening. It was unbelievable, almost like you're walking down, for several blocks of downtown, and there's multiple story buildings, and like on every story, like every single bar that you walk by that have like the glass off of the window, and some drummer's back. Is that like you're just walking out? It's just some drummer's back, another drummer's back, another drummer's back, because there's a band playing and they're live to people. Multiple stories everywhere. I mean, when I got off the airport, when I got off the airplane, I didn't even make it to the baggage claim. There's a guy playing live music before you leave the terminal, and then when you get outside the baggage claim, there's another guy out there playing live music. It was amazing. I was taken aback by how much live music was happening at once in this place. That has nothing to do with the show. It's just the location of Nashville, but that one stood out to me, obviously. Show wise, I think actually this last Virginia show was the biggest one, as far as numbers through the door. So that was cool. Man, there's not really a standout one, I should say. They're all really cool. There's a great vibe at these shows you guys are putting. They're very intentional about what they're trying to do there. As far as like how it feels to be at the show, they really do put a lot of attention to detail into that. And I saw some old heads come through in the back room one time, one of these shows, and they were like, he was like, I've never seen this much advertisement for a show. Like this is how, like he was saying, this is how it's awesome. Who was that? It was gosh dang it, Ian Mikowski. Anyway, he was like one of the original ball python importer guys back in the day.
Okay.
Ian Wachowski. Gosh dang it.
Mike
Something along those
Wazowski.
lines.
Oh, sorry.
Mike
No, I'm just
Wazowski.
kidding. Well, did you like? Was there any shows that had some sort of like unique species like that was like kind of unique to that show that you don't see like every so often? And you're just kind of like, holy shit, that was here
at the Denver show. Well, Philip Leeds. Oh, I've got to shout out a couple guys here because there's been a couple podcasts I was supposed to go on, and I'm just such a moron. Like my schedule, people that want Bill, it's a good thing you have my phone number. You call me. Like I think you just need to hit up my wife and like have her like be like, you have a podcast this day, because there's been two I was supposed to be on. One with Philip Leeds, who has it's airs only, and he had some mind-blowing Uromastics. They're just like, and he just nerds out on them, and they're so beautiful. So those are some incredible animals. I mean, they stop me in my tracks. They stop lots of people in their tracks. I think they're just incredible. And then he's usually at the Denver show, which is next weekend. I was supposed to be on his podcast, and I totally just flaked. And then also homie Adam, who's been doing his podcast is called the Expert and the Idiot.
That's
seen them
a
pop
good podcast. I love his podcast.
Yeah, and I'm such a moron. We booked a date like a month in advance, and my brain skipped it forward to another month forward. So when the time came, I wasn't even doing it. Well, it was one of my kids' birthdays, but we were supposed to do it early morning, and I literally was just like farting around, doing nothing super important at the time that we were supposed to be podcasting. I didn't even realize it till like a week and a half later when I went to Instagram and like checked through messages, and he was like, 3 days before, he's like, "Hey, are we good? Hey, are we good? Hey, are we good?" And I'm like, I just missed all of it. So I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. But yeah, hopefully he'll forgive me someday. I'm sure I'd be pissed at me if I was him. So yeah, those podcasts. Oh, and then the show. Oh, Croc Monitor. This guy Mark has these Croc
there we go.
monitors
Now
that
we're getting into it.
to the Denver show, and they are just like he has babies that'll just be cruising, and it just like lets you hold them, and they'll just like crawl on you and do baby Croc Monitor stuff, and then he has this big one that he let me hold and let it crawl on me. Like he works with it really closely, but there was an intense moment I had. It's all on video. It's all on an uncut video. This thing is like crawling up me, and it's like nuzzling my ear, like shoving its mouth on my ear lobe right here, just like. And Mark, you can see on the video, like Mark's kind of like putting his hand there between my ear and its mouth, just kind of like, man, hold on, what's going on here? I think it's just really like my smell. Troy was busting up. He was laughing so hard because it clearly had a thing for me, I think.
Oh boy!
But I remember just sitting there. I just remember like just calm. Like, if I'm about to lose my ear right now, then that's what it is. That's what was happening. And I watched the footage back. I'm like, dude. It didn't look okay. It didn't look like what should be happening with my head and a Croc Monitor. Yeah, that's one to remember for sure.
Yeah. I was just
they'll be there
monitors earlier.
They'll be there at the show next weekend. I'm sure of it.
Hell yeah!
And I've had some really cool moments with people. A lot of the different. One thing that Troy and Nick were pretty intentional about is wanting to have a church service at their show. That's something I had never really heard of, and part of what got me to the show in the first place. And it has some really cool moments with some folks there in those moments. It's different. It's been cool.
That's a good aspect to bring. It's something new, and it helps bridge that gap that we have between, I would say, religion and reptiles. Because whether people want to admit it or not, it's safe. We
Yeah.
get not I don't want to say a bad rap. How do I word this properly? There's a lot of miseducation
We have
out there
bad
as far as
PR.
the two bridging together comes. I've had tons of discussions with people where things are mistaken, things can be interpreted the wrong way. And having those two together, I feel bridges that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, miscommunication is definitely a thing. I was just talking about it a moment ago when I missed these podcasts.
Yeah, reptiles have bad PR for sure.
They're getting better. Oh, dude, my buddy Jeremy, there's a guy that lives down the road here. Jeremy, he's a really cool guy. He made this awesome video. I shared it on my YouTube channel called Forever Green. It's like this gospel story featuring this little bear. Super cool. It actually ended up going to the Oscars. Like they went and sat at the Oscars for it because it was nominated, which was amazing. But he also is like the animator for. I'm bringing this up because of the bad rap with snakes. He like does a lot of the animation work and builds the characters for different Disney films. He works at Disney, like Zootopia, for instance.
Gary.
And this last Zootopia film with the snake, I think that might be the first film where the snake is like, even in the film, he's still being like, persecuted wrongly, right? He's being wrongly persecuted in the film. And I think it's the first thing that I can recall where a snake is shown as like the hero.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I thought that was big time. The snake is always the villain and the bad guy, dude. It's that like you were just saying, like it always is.
I think there was maybe one other movie, but I think it was some like low budget animation movie that was only on like Netflix or something like that. There's one other one. It was like a viper or something like that was misunderstood and kept being chased by some guy. I couldn't tell you. I just remember watching my kids watching it. But yeah, no, there's not very like none. Like you're saying, there's none. And then if anything, they're always shown as like brutal, mindless murdering machines or plotting murdering machines. Have you seen the new Anaconda?
No, I have not.
It's
pretty ridiculous.
It's ridiculous too. It's horrible. Like it is just not a good movie. Like
it's better than the other one.
# Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, no, but
I wanted to touch on Dana's comment a little bit with you, Kusko, because you probably know better than I do. Snakes are the devil is the rap, right? But going back to the language in the Bible, Satan was a serpent.
Yeah, there's lots of thoughts and theology around that. I think more commonly it's not believed that it was like a physical snake. And especially when you're talking about the book of Genesis, there's lots of poetic type of imagery happening. And this serpent they're talking about was definitely Satan. And that it's easy. I've obviously read it, and I can admit that while reading it, if you just go full literal and you will call on your belly all the rest of your days, like all that stuff is like, sounds pretty snakish, with the belly crawling and all that. But eating the dust and Sheol, like there's so many different aspects, if you went to the original, the Hebrew that it was written in, I think there's it's not necessarily talking about, I mean, there's some ties there for sure, but no, I don't think that what the takeaway, I'll say the one thing that I think anybody who has a reasonable theological head on their shoulders will tell you is that the takeaway is not that the snake crawling out in the garden is not Satan. The rattlesnake crawled up in the desert, that's not Satan.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that does happen. That has happened. Like there's still probably people to this day. I think there are still people to this day that would say, "How could you keep Satan in your house?"
And I mean, okay, so
I'm sorry. There's perspectives, but that's
no.
inaccurate.
I ran into it. I personally ran into it, especially in the neighborhood that I'm in. I would say that's actually becoming the uncommon versus, I mean, even going 10, 15 years back, that was like the thing, right? I think more now is like the installed fear through generations, and not intentionally, right? It's not like bad per se, but not good, right? There's no actual education in it. Going back, like you really talk to people, you trace it back. A lot of it does come down to like the misconception that started there, and it branches out, right? But you could really start there and kind of work your way up into, okay, this misinformation led to this misinformation, and this misinformation led to this, and you start educating people and like really talking to them one on one. I don't even know where I was going with that, but like you could really again bridge that gap though, right? Like you could really bring people away from the misconception into the community and like really make them feel welcome at the same time too.
Totally. Yeah, I think there's a combo. I mean, I think there's that origination of the, origin story in Genesis certainly plays a role. And then just the depiction in movies over the years as, as being evil or, and then there's a natural fear for people too, like spiders and snakes. And how much of that is cultural versus like there's a legitimate reason to be wary of snakes in certain places, like because a venomous snake can really mess you up. So that's a healthy type of fear to have. Like maybe you don't want to just go like cuddle up next to that thing.
Right.
And a big one that I found over the years is like locomotion. The way that they move is something that just kind of freaks people out. They can't make sense of how does it move like that? It doesn't have any arms or legs, and it just moves around like it just doesn't compute. There's something that like on a primal level or something just like disturbs people. My wife was like that. She'll have nightmares of like worms and snakes, and it's not something that can't be gotten past though. That's the cool thing. That most people are able to overcome that fear. It takes the backseat to public speaking and a handful of other things, but it's kind of up there in the list of more common fears, but one of the more easily overcome ones. And I think I've seen a lot of people in your comments like it's fun to help people overcome that misunderstanding and realize, oh, what was I scared of? What was I so. And then you'll find a lot of people will go the opposite direction, like from being scared to like, oh, I'm going to keep them in my house. Oh, I'm going to breed them.
I think those are my favorite. Those are my absolute favorite, where somebody goes from mortified to holding one to almost, it feels like overnight, buying one turns into, they get the bite, right? I'll just sum it up with, they get infected with what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best. We talked with someone at the show that you were at, that we were all at last year. She was just coming to the show looking for her first reptile, and she was looking at like a ball python, and I was trying to help her out in directions. Well, we saw her again at this recent show that we were at in March, and she has 5 different snakes now. Ball python, corn snake, and a couple other things, I think a garter and whatnot. But yeah, that's the best, is when you kind of convince people like, hey, you're going to love it, go down the right path here, and you prep them properly. I think is also really important. If you give someone a really bad experience, or you don't set someone up where they're not ready for it, then they have a bad experience. It just compounds that negativity.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been seeing, and so I saw some post. I'm probably not going to be able to find it now, but maybe if I find it, we'll talk about it. If I can't find it. It's not that
real quick, because you brought it up, and I got kids, you got kids, Lee got older kids, so he's probably not as in the loop. Zootopia 2, Gary, did you hear that people were buying the Vipers, the blue Vipers?
Yeah.
For their kids?
Yeah. I did hear that. And I watched Zootopia while I was in theaters, bruh. My kids
Number 2 or 1?
Both, obviously, but yes,
okay.
2.
See, I didn't know. I would just, that was more of like a question style.
I mean, I know that was definitely a thing with the blue dories and the clownfish that was definitely happening. Are they doing
it made
that
national news? I saw it. I saw it like made like my headlines in like major news. Like people were trying to buy a whole bunch of these. Like, what are they? The blue. What are they? Like the eyelash vipers or some shit.
Blue Lancer. I'm not even. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking
Someone
this
can
up.
definitely tell me what they were. But yeah, they
I think-
definitely had an uptick, or at least people
Adam.
attempting to buy them.
Adam did a video on this, I think.
Yeah, there's
It's always
I
hype.
mean, it could be. I mean, there's definitely. I'm reading an article right now from People. Says that pet sales of venomous vipers on the rise after Zootopia 2. Zootopia, and then Reptiles magazine says Zootopia 2 spurs online sales of venomous blue pit viper.
Well, and to be fair, when it's maybe like 15 people buying them, and now it's like 35 people trying to buy them. I mean, technically that is a pretty big uptick.
Yeah,
So
that's like
it doesn't
100%.
mean, yeah, you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean it's like thousands of people are doing it, but it was definitely enough to like people notice like, hey, more people are trying to buy these. Like we're selling out.
White-lipped island pit viper.
Hey.
Trimercerus insularis. I knew it was an insularis. Okay.
Yeah, blue Indonesian pit viper. Yeah.
And anybody that watches this episode, don't get one. They're not.
I guess it depends on
Good
where you're
pets.
at, that you could just get one like that.
Fucking Texas.
I think probably Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, I think yes, you can for sure.
Hey, hold up. Pennsylvania can have any venomous they want, or is like this one like that?
Anything, I think, pretty much.
When I was out visiting Garrett, we went to a show out there, and the venomous had like a red ring around the cup it came in, or whatever little enclosure it came in. It had a red band around it, and that's how you knew what was venomous.
It's pretty wild.
I think Rattlesnake Ranch does a lot of work with them, and they have like a big old red caution sign that says venomous too.
There's a comment about like owners and breeders ruined it. Good example being Florida. I'll pull that one up.
Right here.
Now, I don't know how most people, but I have I argue a different take on this. I don't think it was even like 50% owners and breeders of the snakes that ruined it in Florida.
Let's not throw irresponsible Florida in the same damn sentence right now. Like that's shout out to US Arc. There's a lot of misinformation out there about what happened. Irresponsibility. And Kusko, you've been around a lot longer than I have. You know a lot more. I would use that as the very last word as to why Florida's in the situation that it's in. I would say it plays a role, but for the overall picture, irresponsibility is not the biggest contributing factor to that. A lot of it's been natural. A lot of it was by natural accident. I mean, from what I've been told, the major accident that started all of it was actually worn to FWC, and they blew it off like it was no big fucking deal, which sounds accurate because they're a bunch of cocky people that think they know everything.
Yeah, there was irresponsibility on all levels, maybe, even government levels. So
yeah, I would just say to put it all on like bad keepers, like thinking like the problem was caused because keepers just threw their pets outside. That's not why Florida is in the spot that it's in. There's myriad of different issues, but Hurricane Andrew was like the biggest one that wrecked a couple reptile farms and zoos, and it broke out a whole bunch of them. So I mean, it's natural disaster really kind of played a part in that. Now, could you say irresponsible, like hindsight being 2020, saying like, oh, well, they should have had, concrete foundations 26 feet into the ground, and then the walls should have been 17 feet high, built out of solid concrete too, and then that wouldn't have happened. It's like hindsight's 2020. They were doing everyone was doing everything they thought was good at the time, and then a natural disaster comes in and tells you, no, not good enough, do better. And then we end up with the problems that we have there.
I found the post I was talking about. I just feel like I've seen a lot of posts about maybe not a ton of posts, but like just like feeders and what's going on. Where do you guys get your rodents? You guys breed your own rodents?
I get
No.
mine locally.
I've tapped out. I'm over it.
Tapped out on
I buy mine, breeding my own and trying to. Yeah, I'm over it. I'm buying full frozen again.
Yeah, I had never I never you have a local breeder, Bill?
Yeah, I kind of like them that way. They're the same. They're the same rats that I keep alive that are frozen, so it's a consistent product. I prefer it that way.
Yeah, I think that that's like the way to go is either, breed them yourself or have somebody local. I've just been learning recently about how many rodents in the industry are not bred here in the States, and that a ton of them actually come from China. Like that, some crazy statistic that it's like 95% of the feeders in the industry, like if you get them from a big name, are likely just repackaged from China.
Yeah, I've heard that
And that
as
when
well.
they are, and that when they're repackaged from China, like the amount of things that happen, like the lack of standards, as well as the likelihood of thawing and refreezing, or is crazy.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't want to go that route either. I agree with you, Brian. Those big houses, you don't know where they're getting them, and it's almost like that's McDonald's, and then if you do them yourself, it's homemade. You know, so definitely you prefer the homemade food.
Yeah. Just like the amount of time, I was kind of blown away to see like the amount of time that these things will actually spend before they go from like the place in China where they're bred, and how long it takes them to actually get here, and the amount of temperature fluctuation that happens. This person said that what made me think about it was just a post yesterday. This girl posting that her snakes passed away, um, and that it's likely related to the feeders. Um,
Yeah.
argue once, necropsy results, still trying to avoid taking. Anyway, yeah. And
No,
I only bring that up as a shameless self plug. I started working with these group, and Bill, thank you for putting the link down in the description of the video. But these guys are doing rodent breeding in a way that, and being an American supplier and trying to do it in a way where they can hopefully fix the China problem, and really do it big, but the right way, and not just do it big in the right way, but also in that bring people in who are either like out of prison or homeless and needing work, and like putting people to work that way, and also like discipling them at the same time. That's what this company is doing. So I was kind of blown away to hear what they're doing. I was like, yeah, I'm happy to jump on board with all that. I'm looking forward to going to see out like what they're doing facility wise, and see the whole thing. But um, I didn't know this initially, but the Duck Dynasty guys, I guess that was kind of their model. They like kind of found guys that were you know not in a good way, and kind of, I guess Phil would bring them under his wing and just like turn them around and get them on the right track from versus a life of like degradation and just like that type of stuff. And that's kind of was the company like uh, model. And I guess that's what these guys are doing, looking to do with the rodent breeding thing. I think it's pretty cool.
heck yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, the place I get from has a story and a connection to some stuff that I would watch on like Garrett's feed and stuff like that. So yeah, I like those kind of stories. I like to support those kind of companies.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta check that out.
Thank you. I was hoping you were going to click that one.
I've
So
never seen that.
it's so
I
funny
mean,
you say something about that because I was just having
I'm
a
curious now.
conversation with someone earlier. I don't know exactly what those people are injecting. I haven't seen those videos, but what I've heard recently around the block is people have, especially like breeders, will have this like trick, or I don't even know if it's really a trick, but like kind of just a security blanket. They'll inject liquid calcium into the food for their breeder females to increase calcium for like egg production and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that's exactly what you're seeing in those videos, but I did have a conversation with someone earlier today, and they were talking to me about that, doing injecting like their feeders with liquid calcium, like during breeding season, mainly the females, like a little bit before breeding season, a little bit right after.
There could also be a like if you're trying to feed a snake that is not normally like doesn't have a rodent response, or because there's so many snakes that because rodents are so convenient to feed, there's plenty of snakes that don't normally eat rodents that will and can do well with them, but trying to entice them, it could be some kind of like a broth or some kind of thing to entice a feeding response to a rodent for a snake that would normally be going after like a lizard or a bird or something like that.
Who is it that makes those? I know what you're talking about, like getting a Neurodia to eat rodents on a regular basis, like they use frog leg injections, for example.
So it could be that.
Yeah. The only thing that got me with him was when he said rats with retics. The only thing I could think of like injecting something for a retic would be like during breeding season to increase calcium for like the egg production and stuff like that, or having good solid eggs. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I was having a conversation with someone earlier, but they do more like monitor stuff.
Well, it's been a hot topic throughout some other podcasts and different snakes. Brian, I don't know if you've heard we talk about gut loading our insects all the time, right? Like making sure they're eating healthy, making sure they're loaded, getting all the nutrients. Why don't we do the same for our rodents? Why is it always like a brushed off conversation?
I think people do. I mean, there's a certain type of food that it will do that. I mean, that's what I think a lot of guys that breed their own rodents do is like, you got to start there. Once your snakes be healthy, you got to feed them healthy food. So I know it's a good question. I think it ties back to what I was saying earlier about being mind blown to find out that the percentage of snake or rodents that who knows what they've been fed and who knows where they came from, and then the who knows turns into, oh, they're coming from China.
I mean, are there sources on this that we could go investigate and figure out places to avoid potentially?
As far as I think there are. I have not dove that far. Forgive me. I don't want to speak before I know for sure, but my understanding is that there's like one, maybe two. There's either one or two of the big rodent suppliers in the U.S. that actually produce all their own rodents, and the rest of them either produce only some of their rodents or none of them, and source from China to fill the gap. The thing is that you can't actually, like, you couldn't do like a genetic test or something to determine if a rat is American bred or Chinese bred. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then that comment right there, the import records are. I think that's where these guys got that information, was looking at the import records, and you can see like which companies are importing from China. Which, from what I heard, was all of them except for one or two.
Well, stick around after we close out the podcast. We go backstage. I want to ask you about the one I buy from then.
Okay.
From what you know.
Sure.
I don't want to mention them now.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't either, because I don't know which one. I honestly don't remember which two that don't. I want to say.
I know one or two. But you know what? I don't actually remember. I just know.
Be a good list. No, I don't. There was a couple names thrown around. I want to say that Lane was one of the ones that does actually not. And then I can't remember what the other. I don't know if they were the only one.
Todd was saying Cold Blooded Cafe breeds their own, he believes.
Nope.
No?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay, Todd.
Sorry, Todd.
Oof.
Anyway, I didn't want to mention it, but I guess you can just by default. Like I think Lane was the only one that was only breeding their own. If that, so you can basically rule out the rest of them. I think, as far as I'm not saying they don't produce their own, but sourcing, not fully. You know, filling in the gaps with imports.
Goddamn China rats.
You can check me on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to disparage anyone, because was avid like Cold Blooded Cafe supporter, especially like with the whole story behind it.
Absolutely.
So, but I feel like if you're in this hobby long enough and you kind of start looking into a whole bunch of different like food suppliers, they all kind of go through a round of like having bad luck with feeders and people and stuff like that. I don't want to name any other ones or anything like that, but I know that Cold Blooded, I think, went through a little spout maybe a few years ago or whatever it was, that people were getting upset with some of their stuff. But when I've bought from them, I've had nothing but good luck. So. But
I love Dez. Yeah. I just
like to try to support as much as I can with that family, with that situation. So, anyways, that's pretty crazy. I guess we'll have to be looking at our rodents, fellas, making sure we're getting good shit.
All that smell is a giant pain in my ass, and not trusting anyone anymore, doing my own thing again. God damn it. It's your fault, Kusko.
Just use the link in the description. They're right here, right here in the old States.
Use the link.
They don't sell anything big is my problem. I need rabbits.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just rodents.
So if you can put in
just rats,
Put in hey, this. If you guys could do this, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll see if they can. For sure.
I like feeding pigs right now.
Yeah, not a whole lot of access to pigs around here. I'm sure there are some, but
just like 1 pound to 1.5 pounders.
Little pig. Pork.
Yep.
Gentiles
it just looks like such
chops.
a healthy food item for them. You know, when you're feeding it, it just
looks like a healthy food item for me.
It's just a hunk of red meat, man. It just looks good for them, you know.
Oh wait, I thought it was the other white meat.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, to an
extent.
extent. I mean, you got to do some reading on like sodium levels and things like that, because I mean, pork is good for us in certain amounts, but when you overindulge, good goes to bad very, very quickly.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm a huge been an advocate for variety diets. Like, we don't eat one thing over and over and over. I mean, of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but we don't eat the same thing over and over and over and over again. We're supposed to have a variety, and I think even if they don't have that in the wild, to offer that is a huge benefit.
Yeah,
I've definitely been on a kick of eating the same thing for a while.
Yeah, I was like, I get used to that too, but
lots of rice, lots of vegetables, lots of meat, and fruit.
You ain't got
That's-
no 10-pounders,
Uh,
15-pounders.
Hey, I
I've
got
got-
a 3.8 in the fridge or in the freezer.
Apotheosis would laugh at me. She would look at me and be like, "You're an idiot," and go back
It's
in
a
her
snack,
enclosure.
a little snack.
It'll get her by. It'll get her by.
I definitely feed some 15-pounders. Those are some of the kids' favorites. Can we feed a rabbit? I was like, yes, but not right now. It's going to take at least a day and a half for this thing to thaw out.
Yeah, we got a future plan for this one.
Yeah, future plan. I mean, for all of them, maybe we could like throw
Yeah.
a pup rat into some water and it'll be ready in 30 minutes or an hour or something. But none of this is like, can we feed a snake right now?
No.
I wish.
How do you thaw your 15s? You just leave them out?
I just leave them out. I just stick them in the. I mean, I guess the technical proper way to do it would be to put it in the refrigerator, and I guess it would be ready next week.
Man, ain't no way. Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't do that with my meat.
Yeah, I do it with my meat.
Nerd. I'm sorry.
I did it with well, there's enough time. I've already got some that's thawed. I had a wonderful piece of filet mignon tonight, and then I've got some ribeye that I pulled out of the freezer that's going to be ready when the filet mignon's gone. So
Tell us you balling without telling us you balling, Kusko.
no, I'm not. I
I'm
just
kidding.
It sounds like
Dang.
someone that bought like half a cow and is going through it all year long.
Dude.
that
Dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of healthy
Okay.
foods, like we could talk about humans too. That I didn't realize that was an option until recently. Like you can go buy a whole ass cow with like another family and split it 50-50. Bruh.
I've got a buddy out close to you guys actually up in Kirkland. He's harvests his cows and he would
Mm.
Kirkland is a small town. It's like 25 miles southwest of Prescott.
Okay. I was just up there not
Yeah,
too long
Tiny
ago.
town,
Yeah.
population of like 600 people and 12 square miles, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you know.
Dude,
it's
that's where
closer
I
to
wanna
them.
be.
I live in Texas now.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah.
Not down
Yeah.
the road anymore.
Not anymore. Down the road for them though, for sure.
You in the best damn state to get a freshly cut up cow.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Who said
Hook
New
us
York
up with the
strip?
cow.
like
I did.
Huh?
Bruh. We out here
I
talking
love
about ribeyes. And you brought New York strip.
That's better.
Killing.
Better.
What?
Prime
Yeah.
rib too.
Ooh, prime ribs good. I need a Traeger.
Yeah, smoking meat is the best.
But anyways, back to the snake feeder conversation. I mean, Brian, do you do variety diets when possible? Do you prefer it? Are you against it? Do you see positive, negative?
I've seen snakes have interesting reactions to a varied diet. I don't think that is. I think it depends on the species. Definitely makes a difference. I think some species are better off getting what they're used to. I mean, because your gut, but even us too. Like I think that there's a certain you give yourself something that you haven't had or are used to, it could mess your gut up a little bit. And you have to adapt. Your gut biome definitely, and this goes for snakes, goes for us. Like you build up a certain amount of flora and fauna that are used to breaking down a certain thing, and then those things, it's the bacteria that really do a good amount of that digestion. And so if you built up this certain type of flora and fauna for a certain type of food, then it's going to have an easier time with that versus throwing something different at it all the time. I mean, obviously, as humans, we want to have a fairly varied diet, but not too wildly different. You want to have you have allergies and stuff that pop up. But I think if you're talking about something like an indigo snake, for example, I think that you certainly benefit from feeding them lots of different high protein items. I mean, the occasional rodent. I know my boy Riley would chop up pieces of tilapia and feed them fish, give them chicken. I like to give my indigo snakes whenever I have the opportunity. If there's just like a stillborn ball python or one that's not doing well, I can just give it to the indigo snake, and vary the diet in that way. And they do, doesn't matter what you feed them, they're going to spray paint their enclosure with feces. But I definitely have given, I saw somebody say sensei in the comments. My kids have been watching Cobra Kai. I've given one of my retics a chicken after they've been eating rabbits, and you could tell from the fecal matter that its digestive system did not know what to do with the chicken all of a sudden. Now, would that be different if it was constantly varied? Like if every other week you did rabbit, chicken, rabbit, chicken, rabbit, chicken? I think probably. It would probably be, its gut biome would be ready for that type of varied diet, and it would do okay with it. So, you think about the snakes in the wild and what they're eating, it's whatever's available. That's what they eat. And that depends on species even in the wild. Like a king snake is going to eat all kinds of different stuff, whereas a corn snake is not. A corn snake is going to be after pretty much rodents for the most part. Maybe lizards too.
I was going to say rodents, birds, eggs.
Yeah.
Lizards if possible.
Yeah, I don't know if corn snake will eat an egg or not. The egg is such a different thing for a snake to eat, but maybe, quite possibly.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about in the wild, but I've had great success with quail eggs. Wait, hold on. Who was it? NKF, I think, observed somebody. I'll send it to you. I'll send of a wild corn snake eating a thing of eggs. Gophers are egg eaters. Took me a while to learn that one.
Well, Todd was saying that frog legs leave the entire bone. Interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with frog skin. There's dense bone in the frog. Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting as well.
Yeah, it is, because
this
usually
is making me think. Because I was thinking about retics, especially like the super dwarfs and stuff. Probably on their islands, their diet isn't super varied. It's probably either just like rodents or like the bats that they're catching in the cages, or in the not cages, but the caves. So it's some sort of mammal, mostly diet.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. I think there's also not a big enough. I wonder if a retic ever eats like a water monitor.
I know water monitors eat the baby retics for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if it ever goes the other way around.
I think, Levi, didn't we have this conversation like probably like 14 podcasts ago by now? But I think we had the same conversation if they eat the baby water monitors, because someone, I think you were saying, I don't know, someone maybe, we could have all been getting one guide, but I think someone said that they fed a lizard to one of the retics and ate it or something.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I've witnessed a non-snake eating snake on record, right, eating another snake. So to say that they're not willing to do something would be pretty outlandish, in my opinion. I
think when it comes to a snake, it's like, is it alive? Can it fit in my mouth? Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, especially in certain situations, right?
Now that I'm rolling back, I'm pretty sure they eat like any sort of like the Asian, like the big ones will eat like the gators and shit. Like the Burmese will eat the gators here in the Everglades, and they'll eat like the caiman and shit in the wild. Anacondas do it. I think they probably would. I think they probably would eat it if they can get a hold of it, kill it, and it fits in their belly. They'll probably eat it.
Yeah.
There was the retic eating a berm.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Adam that put us on game on that one? I looked it up, and it was
so.
Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to eat freaking anything.
Todd, I was thinking the same thing you were, my man. Thinking the same thing you were. He literally like wrote what I just said. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they probably would eat them as long as it's opportunity.
Yeah. I think warm-blooded prey is probably the number
Preferred.
one for, not even just preferred, but just like what they end up going for most. I'm thinking specifically about heat pits and their purpose.
Yeah, that's what I was on track with too as well.
I think it's
They're designed for
opportunity.
mammals.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunistic thing. If
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like a bat eater in the wild, right? Like if a berm and a retic cross in this right situation at this right temperature, they just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and it happens, right? Just like a king snake and a gopher snake has to be right place, right time, right situation. That's possibly what we're talking about with these random feeders, right? A retic eating a berm, retic possibly eating a monitor. I don't know about the gators though. I feel like I wish we had an unlimited amount of money because I would love to study that to see because they're plentiful, right? So are Burmese, so are retics, and I want to say in different countries, it's the same situation where they're a plentiful food source. Is that like a natural response for them? Like, oh, look, you giant cold-blooded snack, come here.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've seen so many photos of like retics and berms and African rock pythons like cut open in their wild lands with like big ass gators and big ass deer and shit inside them. And gator was like, or not, I shouldn't say gator. Gator's an American thing, but like some sort of crocodilian species was inside their belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Levi, with the opportunistic. Like they're gonna,
Yeah.
if they're
Just
they can go so long without food because they often do have a strike, an unasked for or a non-voluntary hunger strike.
Yeah.
Where they just can't find food forever, and it's like if something comes along that's going to give them those nutrients, it's going in so we can make
Yeah.
it to next year.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past it. I think that's kind of like the funny thing about the beauty of nature. You know, I mean, like the big water monitors will eat the baby retics, then the bigger retics will eat the baby water monitors, or mid-sized water monitors, depending on the size of the retic. It's like it will, you get mine, I'll get yours. It's funny how that works.
I mean, when you just look at something as crazy as a centipede situation, with the mother centipede, like one of two things happens usually, I think. Either
I know absolutely nothing about centipedes, so you're about to put me on game, I guess, as Levi would say.
So if the mother, what I've seen with my own eyes is if the mother has a bunch of babies in her little baby ball, and they've all all of those baby centipedes have come out, one of two things happens. Either she deems that they're not going to make it because the threat is too great, and she will start eating them. I've watched that happen. But my understanding is in the other situation where she's like, okay, these babies are going to survive, they eat mom.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Little assholes.
Well, like, how does that process happen? Like, how is it making the decision whether to eat or to be eaten? Like, how does it process the information that this is safe or they'll thrive? Like, that's something that's pretty interesting, actually.
Well, I watched it happen one time because I was in Hawaii and one of those big old Vietnamese centipedes was underneath a thing, and I filmed it. Actually, it's on like a video somewhere. I just filmed it with my phone, flipped this rock up, big old centipede under there, and she had a ball of babies. And I'm checking it out and getting close, and she's like kind of freaking out a little bit. She's like, "Oh, my rock's uncovered and I'm being looked at." And I look in close, and I see she starts eating her babies. She starts eating them. I'm like, "Oh gosh, okay, I guess I should not do that." And here I'm reading it right here. Yes, in certain centipede species, baby centipedes consume their mother in a behavior known as matrophagy, or mother eating. The mother often willingly sacrifices herself after guarding her eggs, providing her offspring with a nutritious first meal that helps them grow, molt, and survive the initial vulnerable stages of life.
Holy. I mean, look at it this way. You saved her life. You look at it that way. You saved
That's
her
crazy.
life.
Hey, you can't beat moms, bro. Like, literally willing to sacrifice her life for her young.
or
To a
sacrifice
certain
babies.
extent. To a certain extent.
We're like, well, if anybody's gonna kill you, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can make more of you little fuckers.
I'll make it out of this alive. You won't. You won't. And I'm hungry.
That's
That is
crazy.
insane. That is pretty insane. That's good to know now.
I'm
Drop
gonna
that little
clip that.
factoid on Kelly later.
Well, listen, speaking of kids eating things in themselves and their parents, I'm getting to a spot here where I need to go check on these. Mom is gone on a book
Yep.
study, and I need to jump over and make sure these guys have not started eating each other, and also get them to bed and myself.
Same. I need to
Fair enough.
get mine to bed as well. So that works out, man. But it was a pleasure talking with you tonight. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
guys, thanks
thanks,
for having me,
Brian.
man. Yeah, it's good
We'll
to see
see
you
you
guys.
we'll see you at the All American. We're vending again, so we'll be there.
In the Scottsdale one?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. This time I need to hang out with you guys a little more. I feel like I just saw you for like a blip. And this time I think I will, because last time I was trying to run around and do a bunch of stuff. This time I think I have a little more free time. So,
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
We'll
Sounds
save you a
good.
chair.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to come sit at the table for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
See you
Absolutely.
in May, good sir.
All right.
All right, you guys.
And
Thank you guys for having me.
everyone, see you later. Like, share, subscribe. Nailed it this time.